a Sapphire Running Zone podcast.
Hi everyone, this is Tim from the Sapphire Running Zone, and this is another in our series of podcasts on training and fundraising support. Today it's about fundraising, and it's all about your fundraising page. Now this is absolutely at the heart of your fundraising efforts. Doesn't matter if you're fundraising for a charity using one of their guaranteed entries like a London Marathon place, or whether you've got your own entry in an event, or if you're doing a virtual event and you're raising money for your favorite charity. You have to have a fundraising page. It's at the heart of everything that you do. Now, there's a lot of different fundraising platforms out there. Probably the most well-known is Just Giving. Most of the pages that are provided by these fundraising platforms are very similar. They come with a template. Unfortunately, for the vast majority of runners, they just leave it as that template. They don't do anything with it. So what we're going to talk about today is the need to make changes, the need to keep it all fresh. And we're going to sort of talk through how you go about doing that with images and copy, etc. So let's start with this template then. Generally speaking, you will get, when you first set up your page, you will get a template that includes a standard image from that fundraising platform. Can be just something really random, pair of feet or something in running shoes. It can just be a random image, which you flick through lots of fundraising pages and you'll see that a lot of people have not changed that standard image, which is a shame. It also comes with standard copy. So, hi, I'm fundraising for charity. Please support me. Something as basic as that. And this is across all the different platforms. They're all very similar in terms of the provision of this standard template and what comes in it. There'll be a place where you can put your fundraising target, and then there'll be a spot where you can see all the donations as they come in, or hopefully as they come in anyway. So it's all very, very standard. Now, the key for you is to make yours stand out, because ultimately it's this link to this fundraising page that you will be sending out to friends, family, and work colleagues. Everything points back to this page. So you'll hear about people using social media or doing an event to try and raise money for their fundraising effort. They might have a quiz or a raffle or an auction. Everything points back to this page. So you've got to make sure that when people land on this page that you will have sent out on social media, everything is about this page. So you've got to make sure that when you get people to this page, there's something exciting on there and there's regular changes. And that's the key to all of this. So before we do anything, of course, we will have made sure that we've started this process nice and early. And you'll hear this on lots of podcasts. That we do is the need to start this fundraising effort early. The first thing you do is sort out this template. So what are you going to put on this template? Well, you're going to change the one image that it comes with. And you're going to add more images, because although they only come with one image generally set up, they can take multiple images and they can take video. So it's really important that you use that facility and you actually show people what it is you're doing. So when you first start off, make sure you change that template image. Make it relevant to the charity that you're supporting, relevant about you. It's really important to personalize that image. So I've done a lot of work with the scoliosis support and research charity, and a lot of their runners have had scoliosis, still have it, but have had spinal fusion surgery. So what they do is they've put x-rays of their spine with the curvature caused by scoliosis. That's so important because immediately it's relevant. Immediately it says, I'm running for this charity because look what's happened to me. So make sure that you put something on that's really relevant, and then add more images. And then the copy. So what should the copy say? Well, obviously what distance it is, what event you're doing. That's important. What's your experience in running or walking or whatever it is you're doing? make sure you make it clear that this is a big deal, even if you've run marathons before and you're doing another marathon. Or maybe it's you want to try and do it faster, or you want to raise more money. Make the challenge really, really clear. Talk about the charity, what it is they're doing. Now, on this podcast, we've got a little chat coming up with Hannah from Move for Hunger charity in the US. And they do an incredible job. So Hannah's going to talk about how her runners personalize their pages and their social media messaging with stories of that charity and make it relevant to them and to the charity. So that copy is really key. What's also important is that you keep changing the copy and the images as you progress through your fundraising journey. So don't just keep that same image there. Change it. Include video of your running or walking when you're out training. Take some quick clips. Get them loaded on that page. Show people how you're progressing. Don't just leave that one image that you put on at the start. The same with the copy. So important. How are you getting on with your training? Let people know. Update on how the fundraising is going. So important to really keep people engaged with what you're doing, because they might donate again. That's something that a lot of people just don't really think about. They've got a donation from someone, they've got £10, £20, $15, $20, whatever it is. They might come back again if they can see that that money's making a difference. If you have a guaranteed entry in an event, then you'll put the target up that you've been set by your charity. And if it's a London Marathon entry and it's a UK charity, chances are it's probably something like £1,750 to £2,500. Some have now gone up to £3,000. So you'll put that target right up there, right from the start. You need people to understand how much money you need to raise. Now, if you're running on your own entry or walking, you've got an entry in an event, or you're walking a set distance, like you're climbing Snowdon or Scarfell Pike in the Lake District with a group of friends, well, you haven't got a set target from a charity. However, you can set a target, of course. So let's say you are doing a 10K for the first time. You might say, £250 seems a decent target, and it is a decent target. Why don't you put 500 up? That's something then for you to strive towards. You may well get more and more people supporting you if they know that you've got a significant target. The important thing here, and I keep using the word important, I'm conscious of that, but all these things are important. You need to keep changing that target. So you'll hear about this a lot. Don't leave that target, because once you go past it, potential donors may well say, oh, well, they've done it now, they don't really need my support. You do need their support. So let's take an example of someone who did put £500 up for their local 10K. What about when they get to that target, right? Push it to 750. People coming onto your page then as a result of your social media activity, whatever it is you're doing to drive people to that page, may well go, oh, wow, okay, target 750 and they're on 510. Fine, I'm going to give them £20 to push them up towards that 750 target. What a difference that could make. Whereas if you just leave it at 500, chances are people will just go, no, good, they've hit the target. That's all cool. I'll give my money to someone else. Don't let them think like that. You've done the hard work to get them to your page. Let's keep pushing. And then once you get to 750, do it again. So this is why this fundraising page takes work. It's not, oh, I've set up my fundraising page, now I'm all good to go. It's not a case of that. It's a case of this is at the heart of your fundraising. So with these images and these videos, right, you've got to your initial target. Amazing. Right. Tell people about it in the copy. Don't just change the target. Just say, I can't believe how much you guys have supported me. I've hit my 500 target. I've now moved it to 750. I need your support. Right, you've got all these donations coming in. What do you do about that? You thank them. It's so important to thank people when you get a donation, and very, very few people indeed do this. You can do this on your fundraising page. So every time a donation comes in, you can basically hit reply or thank you, whatever, however it's labeled on your fundraising page. And you can just put a little message in there which says, thanks so much for your donation. Really appreciate it. Now, there's only so many ways that you can say that, of course. So rather than just a copy and paste, you should be looking to say it slightly differently. I had a great runner from Kidney Research UK who religiously did this with everyone. And he even said on one of them, he got a donation from someone he didn't know. And he just said, I don't know who you are, but thank you so much because this has made the world of difference to me. So just keep doing that. Keep thanking people. Make it clear that this is appreciated. It just does make difference. And he said that he had people coming back and donating 2 or 3 times, and he wasn't sure if it was because of that, but it could well have been because people they just feel appreciated, don't they? It makes a big difference to do something like that. So be thanking people. There's depending on which fundraising platform you use, there are a number of other tools that you can utilize. And I know, just giving, for example, you can integrate your Strava page, for example. So not everybody uses Strava. Lots of people do. And that's got its own community, of course, where you can, get comments on your run that you've just done. Some people build up quite a good little community on that site. Now you can integrate that with your Just Giving page, which means that there is then that sort of direct link between your fundraising and your running, and you will get support from some of the people who are seeing your training runs pop up on their Strava page. There is linkage across. So be thinking about that as well. Don't just be thinking, it's only there for people who want to show off their runs. It's not. It actually can have quite a positive fundraising impact. So all the way through your fundraising page, you should not be shy in using emotive language. This is an emotive subject. You're out there fundraising. You're going to spend a fair chunk of your next few months putting a lot of work in, a lot of effort, and raising a lot of money for very worthwhile charities. So don't be scared about using emotive language. Don't be too matter of fact. Tell people how important this is, with the great work this charity does, and how it's impacted you. If you've chosen a charity that is very close to your heart, you'll find this a lot easier. Some people just run for a charity just to get a spot in a race, and that can make it a little bit harder. But if this is something that you're absolutely passionate about and that means the world to you, you shouldn't find it difficult to be emotive, be emotional on your page. And that's so important. And I'll use that word again. Right. I'm just going to bring in Hannah now. So Hannah works she's the development manager for Move for Hunger, and they have runners all over the world doing events for them. Big Sur Marathon, New York Marathon, London, Berlin, all over the place, and a lot of runners with their own entries in events all over the US. Now, Move for Hunger is a charity that basically works with socially responsible relocation companies that provide their customers and clients and residents the opportunity to donate their food when they move. So basically, they're putting food that people don't want into the hands of people that do want it. So fantastic charity. And they have, since 2009, delivered more than £60 million of food to food banks across the US and Canada. And I met Hannah at the Big Sur Marathon in the US, and the charity were helping the event there to move their unwanted food, things like bananas on race day, etc., to people that needed it. And it's great to hear these messages being reinforced from someone who's on the front line, working with runners all the time, and seeing the benefit of this kind of personalisation and the correlation with the increase in fundraising monies that are raised. So let's have a listen to Hannah.
Team Move for Hunger, it's talking about how many people are hungry in America, talking about the percentage of food waste that happens every year, how many kids are hungry in your state, because that information is always available, and you can always reach out to the charity that you're working with and say, where can I find more resources to talk about the work that you're doing? I want to share more about the detail of your work. I want to talk about the statistics. Do you have any resources that I can utilize? Something that I've seen that's been really, really effective is some of my runners actually share videos from their runs. They're out on their training runs, prepping for whatever race they're getting for. One of our Big Sur runners actually did this pretty recently. He was recording himself, had his phone up, was doing a selfie video while he's running down the street in his neighborhood, saying, hey guys, I'm out training for the Big Sur Marathon. I'm running with Team Move for Hunger. This is why I'm running with them. I'm fundraising, trying to reach this dollar amount. I'd really love your support. And so just making sure that one, you're telling your story, but that two, you have a clear call to action every time and that you're sharing that link every time saying, I'm running. I need you to help me fundraise. Will you do it? Something that I also offer to our runners is just some guidelines of, hey, your fundraising goal might be $1,300. It might be $3,000, depending on the race. That number can feel really, really, really intimidating when you first sign up saying, oh my gosh, I have to raise how much? But really it comes down to you're asking your donors for $25, $50, but reaching out to your friends, your family and saying, hey, will you donate $25? That'll provide 75 meals. Will you donate $50? That's 150 meals. Making it those manageable amounts. One, it gives your donor a clear, I'm asking you for $25. Can you do that? But two, it shows them exactly what that $25 is going to do. One, it's going to help you reach your goal. And two, it's going to provide a tangible amount of impact in the community. If you talk about growing up, I was on the free and reduced lunch program at school. I never knew where my meals were coming from. That's why this means so much to me. I want to be able to help folks that are hungry and experiencing the same thing. Will you help me fundraise? Tells a much deeper story than, I'm running in this marathon. Can you help me fundraise?
So your fundraising page is absolutely at the heart of everything you'll do with your fundraising efforts. Put the time in now at the start and then on a regular basis. I'm not talking, it doesn't take that long. It might be you spend 20 minutes a week on it or something just to get it up to date, just to make people realize the scale of what it is you're doing. Put a video on there of you out running in the rain, in the dark, showing people your level of commitment. You've got to keep people up to date with what you're doing. They don't want to land on a fundraising page after you've spent a bit of time pushing it out on social media. They don't want to land on a fundraising page, see it's not been updated for 3 months. Keep people up to date with what you're doing. And if you've got some great examples of fundraising pages that have inspired you or one that has worked incredibly well for you, then we'd love to hear from you. So thanks for listening and look forward to catching up with you again on another podcast soon.
Thanks for listening to this Sapphire Running Zone podcast. Keep checking back as we have lots more podcasts coming soon.